What are the things you secretly judge people for? I judge people for their lack of use of their vehicle's turn signal. I was going to mention traffic as well. Mine goes more like, people who speed up to get in front of me, slow lane, when I'm already speeding, 5 to 10 over mostly, just to slow down. I hate you, sincerely. Oh, I hate that. Or they pull out in front of you, be it from a stop sign or whatever, and there isn't a car behind you in sight and they go so slow. That's a huge thing where I live. And they usually have a trailer. It's a daily occurrence. They half kill you to get in front only to pull into a place 20 feet ahead. Should be allowed to slap people for that. The line forms behind me. Same vein, when I need to move over in preparation of exiting the freeway and there's a gap that's like 8 car lengths long, except the moment I hit my blinker to move over the hole in that lane suddenly guns it to close the gap before I can move because in his stupid mind, me being in front of him means I'm winning the race or something. I will add to that people who pass you, then turn less than a mile later, forcing you to slow down for them. I realized, about 10 years ago, that I was one of these people. There was something psychological in me that hated being behind anyone. But I didn't like to speed either, so I'd zip around people just to resume the slower speed in front of them. It's taken me a long time, but I think I've broken myself of this. So, belated apology, friend. Well, speaking of traffic in general, when you stop to let someone cross the road and they walk so slowly it takes them 2 minutes to cross the street, extra points if they are staring at their phone the whole time and stop in the middle of crossing the street to text something. I use my turn signal religiously even if no one is around. Parking lots even when going into a space, when an on-ramp becomes one lane and I'm merging into it from the right lane I'm already in, even when I would leave my old house flag lot into the small house community and literally no one is around, or when backing up to park in a spot with people behind me downtown. I like measure to make sure I let people know I'm turning at 100 feet to the turn. I hate when people just slam on their brakes and turn or back up. Or are waiting to pull onto the road from a parking lot and I'm at a stoplight. Are you going in my lane or the other way? I need to know how much space to give you and let people to the left to stop and give room. Did anyone else take like actual driver's ed or did they all just read the book and answer at least 8 out of 10 questions right and take a 10-minute lesson learning like 5 things? I check my mirrors constantly so I know what everyone is doing around me. I look ahead to see people in front of the person in front of me brake so I know I need to brake soon. I watch the person behind me to make sure they are slowing down in case I need to start rolling forward to reduce impact or lay on my horn to make them aware. U-Haul giving people who can barely drive a Civic keys to a big box truck. /rant. People who don't cover their nose/mouth or redirect when they sneeze. Burps too. Have a friend who burps and then blows it at me and it makes me want to vomit. Lack of manners. Me too, and I kind of group this with being impolite, and having a lack of awareness of their surrounding. Rudeness, bad manners, being impolite, I definitely think less of people who display these behaviors. Excuse me, at some point stopped meaning, let's have you scooch over a little bit this way and I'll scooch over a little bit that way and we will get around each other without incident, and became, may I shrink myself down to nothing to get past you, on a good day, and, fuck you motherfucker let's go right now, on a bad one. It kills me when I say excuse me and the other person stands stock still and responds, it's okay. No. That's not what that means. And then I'm supposed to feel grateful they didn't, like, deck me. What the heck? People who ask for things without please, and sometimes thank you. That's demanding and treating people like robots. I'm overly polite. Like I say thank you too much to customer service after every sentence of them saying things they are gonna help me with. Or, I appreciate your help, have a wonderful day. Manners get you far people. People with no self-awareness. For example, when someone watch video with high volume in public or when they suddenly stop walking, blocking the path for other people. I tell my kids that they can ask me anything and I'll always have their back. It drives me nuts when people see their kids as a burden and don't take proper care of them. It's okay to not always be there physically like if you're working or something, but you should always be there emotionally. Kids who don't get enough attention from their parents grow up to be dicks and then the same happens to their kids. Or the ones who you can tell are trying to act like a perfect parent when their kid acts up just because people are around. But the kid isn't reacting how they should to it because they don't do that at home. Kids' names. 100% on this. My wife and I judge people hard who give their children ridiculous names. You are naming a human for their entire childhood, and expressing your creativity and your personality should not factor into it. Oh, you're a big Game of Thrones fan, so you named your daughter Khaleesi, eh? How lovely for her having to grow up trying to explain your fandom for a TVMA fantasy show to kids who think her name is dumb. Yes. I work with kids and can't help thinking of some of their futures. There is an episode of Frasier where Daphne and Niles need a placeholder name for a preschool application. Roz fills out the form with Ichabod aka Ichabod Crane. They get denied as the school doesn't think they are taking the application seriously. I know someone named Thor. There have been numerous times where people call to verify if his name is in fact Thor. Where the names are common names but spelt so different that you don't realize. Kids get annoyed when you don't pronounce their name correctly. How they treat people that are working, waitresses, baristas, cashiers, etc. In my opinion, you can tell everything you need to know about a person by how they leave a public space after using it. My house is a never-ending crap show, but if I'm at someone else's house or a restaurant or anywhere really, I clean up after myself and others. Just because you open your doors to friends doesn't mean you should have to spend hours cleaning afterwards. This on top of this. Thank you. From restaurants to workplace restrooms, gotta say I think women must live in fastidious stuff shacks at home. Or just think that they have it so bad at home that everyone else should clean up after them everywhere else. Slobs. Disgusting. Yup. I judge people who don't clean the public barbecues at parks after they use them. And leave their rubbish around. 20 minutes after they leave, the greasy barbecue is covered in leaves and dirt and trapping insects to rot until someone else cleans it. It's a disgrace. What part of their life are they posting on social media? When they make a public post yelling at one particular person who most likely will never even see it. And the "please keep me in your prayers, my" insert whoever just lost their job / dog / car keys and I'm so not okay right now. Was a roomie with a young 20-something girl for a little bit. One of my first interactions with her was her showing me her TikTok with 100,000 plus followers. I'm not on TikTok nor do I care about influencers. It's dumb. In real life? She was a complete mess. Broke as a feather. Her boyfriend worked at like a shipping yard or factory like 10 hours a day to support them while she sat at home watching TV. But she was trying to show me how cool she was. Girl. Reality check. I have a friend who posts so much of her child's life on Facebook. She made a post the other day stating what daycare he was at, the time she drops him off and picks him up, tagged a couple people authorized to pick him up, so and so can pick him up or check on him while I am at work, and then posted pictures of him as well. Makes me so nervous for that baby. She is also the type to post long rants about whatever family / friend drama she has. Letting their kids run around screaming and terrorizing stores, restaurants, or any other public place really. Yes. I get kids can be excited and sometimes get upset about something. In that situation you remove them from the area so they can calm down. You don't sit in a restaurant where others are trying to enjoy a meal and let your kid go running screaming and grabbing at whatever they want. People who cheat rather than just break up first. There's something about secretly sleeping with someone else and not telling your partner that feels like it breaks consent boundaries. I may not tell you to your face, but I'm thinking it. Especially people who brag about cheating, or talk about their side piece like it's funny. I don't make friends with people like that, but I've had to endure them at work before and it's always disgusting. Not training their pets well or at all. This is a huge one that I deal with regularly at my parents' house. They have 4 small indoor dogs and think that small dogs do not need to be trained. It's a circus over there and my mom gets super angry when my daughter is frustrated with the dogs for climbing on her / nipping / scratching etc. Ugh. Small dogs in my opinion tend to be the worst because they get treated like babies their whole life and they don't get disciplined. Little dog privilege as I think of it, your Frenchie or Pomeranian or Chihuahua etc. barks and nips and bites but they just babies. If my husky did that she'd be getting apprehended. Train your puppy with what you expect out of the adult. My sister has a 100-pound golden retriever that is a lapdog cause of this though he's fantastic, just a gentle giant. I had hated dogs as a kid because I thought they were all out-of-control beasts that constantly bark, jump on people, steal food right off your plate, and destroy all of your belongings. Then I realized it's because the only dogs I knew were my uncle's untrained ones, which then made me avoid all dogs. I have a dog now and my mom met him, over video chat, and couldn't believe that our dog was so well-mannered. I realized that my uncle's dogs also made her avoid dogs her whole life. My uncle says he wants his dog to be loud and aggressive, for protection. He lives in a small town. I don't understand why it's worth it to have a dog that is obnoxious 24/7 for the 0.01% chance you'll need it for protection.